Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, Erastus Edung Ethekon is the man to watch now, especially when it comes to parliament dissolution. The president has already said the parliament is the most corrupt entity in Kenya. So what should the president do? The only way for William Ruto to survive is to dissolve the parliament. But if he dissolves the parliament again, it's going to be a disadvantage to him. He needs the parliament right now. But the parliament is not on the same page with him again, matters ideologies. And that's why you find that CS Mbadi's proposal was shot down the very first day after Ruto had toured Tokyo. Now in this analysis, I'd like us to focus on Erastus Edung Ethekon's office, because IEBC has clarified on the issue of dissolving parliament after corruption allegations. So first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, before I escalate this story further, kindly take this opportunity, like this video. I've discovered that many of you good viewers watch our videos, but if you forget to like our videos, please like, please subscribe, and that is the only way you make this channel grow. And thank you so much for your support. Now, Erastus Edung Ethekon is the man to watch. We cannot rely on the speakers. The speakers are the ones who are being blamed, and they've always been blamed. But right now, the person we should in fact look at the most is Erastus Edung Ethekon. Now, the ball shifted immediately to IEBC, because, of course, Ruto went for multi-agency team on war against craft, but that was shot down. But the IEBC can do something about this. I think the best thing, based on the IEBC's take, is that something needs to be done to this parliament. If a parliamentarian is corrupt, the best thing is he be recalled. Right now, the biggest challenge is that the recalling cannot take place because of some challenges in law. You remember previously IEBC talked about challenges in how to execute recalling. So recalling cannot take place. The biggest weapon that the people could have used to deal with this issue after it emerged that 150 million was spent was to recall these members of parliament, because that is enough evidence to warrant any recall any particular time. But because that cannot happen, we can say that the regime is playing around with Kenyans.
I, Erastus Edung Ethekon, having been appointed the chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission.
The best solution to cure the current problem, according to IEBC, would have been to recall these people. Like, for instance, if Kimani Ichung'wah has been accused of 150 million that he bought shares, used to buy shares, then Ichung'wah is one person who should be recalled. In fact, the people in Kikuyu always want to recall Kimani Ichung'wah kama jana. In fact, wamechelewa tu. Wangetaka wamrecall kama jana. But they can't do that, because even if the signatures are collected, petitions are filed, but again, there is a challenge. How do you recall? In law, there's a challenge according to Erastus Edung Ethekon. There's something he said about the challenge. That's why you find that this story of recalling has just fizzled out, and people are waiting for 2027 to punish these people. I know the people of Kikuyu are waiting for 2027 to punish people like Kimani Ichung'wah. There are many other people, Nyeri Town MP, Madeira MP. The people in those constituencies are waiting for that right opportune time to punish. Because if you go to the law again, it discourages Kenyans. Because even if you are to maybe have that policy in place to recall, and it's 1 year before the election, it cannot be done. Again, the biggest challenge becomes the budget. The government has not given the IEBC the budget needed. So these things, despite the fact that zimeshaletwa, there is nothing that can be done, ladies and gentlemen. And this is scary. Now, I'd like you to just go below in the comment section and tell us whether you also believe that IEBC is the right body to solve this problem, not even the multi-agency that Ruto had shared, that had initiated, the multi-agency to bring on board the EACC, Zote KRA, NIS, yani zote hizo body to investigate.
Chief petitioners Magare Gikenyi, Eliud Karanja, Philemon Abuga and Dishon Kerote moved to the High Court seeking the justice system to quash the presidential proclamation made Tuesday. The petitioners, who appeared before Justice Bahati Mwamuye, argued that the formation of the multi-agency team is illegal and amounts to conflict of interest. In the court papers, the petitioners noted that considering the impunged team will be headed by the Executive Office of the President, the action of the President essentially shields him and his office from public scrutiny by independent officers like EACC. The petitioners termed the actions as selfish and must be nipped in the bud by the Honorable Court. The petitioners told the court that the President overstepped his mandate. The petitioner says the powers quoted by the President to establish the anti-graft squad are, quote, just imaginary, hot air, mirage powers. Article 132(4) says the President may perform any other executive function provided for in the Constitution or in national legislation, except as otherwise provided for in the Constitution, may establish an office in the public service in accordance with the recommendation of the Public Service Commission. According to the court papers, inclusion of the office of the DPP added to layers of constitutional provisions that the President overlooked. Article 157(10) of the Constitution notes that the Director of Public Prosecutions shall not require the consent of any person or authority for commencement of criminal proceedings, and in the exercise of his or her powers or functions shall not be under the discretion or control of any person or authority. The ODPP, under the presidential proclamation, puts it under the chairmanship of the Executive Office of the President. The case that has now opened a legal confrontation has also questioned the role of the EACC, an independent constitutional office established by Article 79 of the Constitution, which must be carried out in accordance with the Constitution and the law. The multi-agency team now propose to undertake the functions usurping powers of the EACC. In the foregoing, Justice Bahati Mwamuye made his pronouncement that, quote, a conservatory order is hereby issued staying the operation and implementation of the presidential proclamation on the establishment of the multi-agency team on war against corruption.
So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.